Testing. 1, 2, 3. It's time for another exciting episode of the Joshcast. Joshcast. I think that's my attempt at Bane. The Joshcast. So, first of all, I was texted by a dear friend who told me that the pictures on my Twitter feed are not working. And that is correct. They are not. And my running joke is it's just my commentary on the nihilism of the inevitability of loss. But more accurately, it means I have to something's not connecting with something else. Which is really a metaphor for my love life on multiple angles. So I've got to go and get that fixed. There's a part of me that wants to keep it unfixed. There's a part of me that wants the images to not be working so that when somebody looks at my digital avatar, it will align with my emotional avatar. Yeah, you know what? Emotionally, my pictures are not working. There is a problem with my emotional picture. It is not registering on Twitter. But in all seriousness, I have to go figure it out. I think I have to disconnect something and then reconnect something. Ladies! But my point is this. Here's my question. This is what I want to see. I'm going to do an experiment. Because I want to see if anyone is actually listening to this. Because when I look at the download statistics, it's saying that right now each episode is averaging, I would want to say, 23 downloads. And not to brag, but I'm curious to see, and it shows geographically where people are listening, and the vast majority of them are from the United States. But there's one or two in England. And then I think there's another one or two somewhere in Asia, something like that. And so just as an experiment, I want just to see if anyone's paying attention. My Twitter handle and my Instagram handle is @NerdyVirgin, NERDYVIRGIN. If you are listening to this and you're game, tweet or Instagram me your favorite science fiction movie from the let's do the date range in between like 1980 and the year 2000. Favorite science fiction movie. And then I will discuss it in the next podcast. If you're listening. I'm just curious to see. So you tweet @NerdyVirgin on Twitter, or can you Instagram? You mention @NerdyVirgin on Instagram. And then in the next podcast, I will discuss, assuming I don't die between now and the next podcast, which hopefully I won't, but poo, knock on wood, you never know. But yes, I will discuss that movie in depth on the next podcast. I'm curious to see who that one person in England is. I have this secret fantasy that it's the Queen, but it's probably not. The Queen saying, I must listen to the Joshcast once more. But why? Why, Your Majesty? Why the Joshcast? Because time is the fire in which we burn. It's a quote from Star Trek Generations. Great moment in that movie. Is it the best Star Trek movie? No. But it has a place in my heart. I enjoy it. Malcolm McDowell is saying that to Captain Picard in that moment. And Captain Picard, of course, gives a very dramatic reaction to it. But I think the reaction should have been, all right, slow it up a little bit. Let's slow it up. Time is the fire in which we burn. Well, I mean, it depends on how much carbs you eat. I'd like to write a Star Trek movie. That'd be fun. I would like to write a Star Trek movie where the captain is a neurotic Jewish man. I think you can see where I'm going with this. And it would be very short. He would just say, you know what, let's skip this one. But Captain, this is a new world, a strange new world with new life and new civilization. Yeah. And statistically speaking, they're going to try to kill us, like they always do. So let's skip it. What about that one? There's no life on that planet. Beautiful. Let's take some pictures and go. Next is cloudy outside right now, which is wreaking havoc with my depression. The cloudiness does not help. There's something about the cloudiness, and when the sun is out and the birds are singing, that is one advantage of when it's cloudy. The birds don't sing as much. There are a lot of birds near where I live. I don't know. There's a bird city, and they are very loud, very early, sometimes chirping all night. I don't know what is going on dealing with these insomniac birds. I think I live next to a bird rave. I think that's what it is. And they're like doing cocaine until 4 a.m, and then they're back up at 7 like nothing. It's a rave full of 20-something uber-rich millennial birds. That's what I'm dealing with. But when it's cloudy, apparently even their depression can't handle it, and so they're quieter, and so that's nice. That's a nice thing. That's a nice thing! But when it's cloudy, I struggle to deal with my depression. I'm looking at a poster that reminds me of the art of Salvador Dali. I'm a huge fan of Salvador Dali. I don't know what it is about melting clocks, but it gets me every time. Huge fan of Salvador Dali. Watched an interview with Salvador Dali where he just brought an anteater into the interview. It was with Dick Cavett. Awesome interview. Salvador Dali just okay, not really. Salvador Dali is at peace, not even trying to fit into your reality. That's what I love about him. And I can't really do the accent, but I love that attitude. Just, Salvador Dali walks into a Starbucks. Sir, what can I get you today? The stars are vomiting in my face. Sir, okay. What can I get you? Here's what I love about the beauty of the letter J. You need to order something, sir. The curve of the letter J reminds me of the curve of a giraffe's neck when it leans over, when it's on fire in the middle of the day, which is a symbol of war. Sir, I'm just gonna go ahead and get you a regular coffee. We're gonna do decaf. The fog was where I wanted it to be. You're Salvador Dali and you're quoting Eugene O'Neill. Now I've seen everything. Here's your regular coffee. You know what? It's on the house. Just walk away, please. Thank you. Driving by a man standing, wearing a red shirt. Looks like he might work at a Best Buy. No, Best Buy is blue, so he might work at a Target. But he also looks like he's a father of 3 who works as an insurance salesman. So I'm not getting the red shirt. A red shirt's a choice for me. For me to put on a red shirt, if we set aside the Star Trek analogy, it's bold. I am making a statement when I put on that red shirt. I I bought one red shirt, and I was told that I look like the what in the butt person, and I haven't worn the red shirt really. Well, the real reason I haven't worn the red shirt was because I wore it the last 2 times I went to the doctor, and so I'm afraid because I was in the hospital there are germs on that shirt now, and any other person would have washed the shirt. I just never wear it again. That's how I handle germs and my obsessive compulsive disorder, which is but red. And according to my parents, you're never supposed to drive a red car because the cops notice the red and tend to pull them over more quickly than the other cars. So, ergo, I think when Bob Kane was originally designing Batman, originally he was going to be red, and then I think it was Bill Finger who said make him all black. Don't quote me on that. But that was a good move. And if Batman had driven, if his red was his thing, and the Batmobile had been his thing and had been red, he'd been pulled over all the time. Commissioner Gordon would not have trusted him. It would have been an unhealthy Bat relationship. That's my other favorite thing about Batman. Everything has Bat in front of it. The Bat Signal, the Batarang, the Batmobile, the Batcave. I'm really in the middle of a bat depression here. Yes, we've diagnosed him with clinical bat depression. Oh, I think I need to do a bat number 2, if you know what I mean. And we go to the scatological. Really, Josh? Really? We're trying to be high level. What would the Queen say? I don't like the episode. He got scatological. It was all right when he was discussing Dali, but then he got into the potty humor. And I could not oblige. I could not oblige. I understand, Mr. Dali, you're here for an examination. Why do the birds weep at midnight? Mr. Dali, I need you to, what symptoms have you been feeling? My heart has been bleeding and crying and kissing a beautiful woman in the middle of the night. Mr. Dali, I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you think you're having a heart attack? Is that what you're saying? Look how the Golden Retriever writes a novel. A 19,000-page treatise on the suffering of man. Mr. Dali, I'm just going to give you I'm going to prescribe to you just a cup of coffee, decaf, and then ask you to walk away from me as quickly as possible. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dali. But you get that from Dali. That makes sense. You look at Dali's paintings, and then you watch Dali in the interview, and you go, yes, that aligns. That aligns. So I don't know how Georgia O'Keeffe interviewed. There's another scandalous reference I can make right there because she, drew a lot of pictures. So is she making those same kind of allusions in the interview? Well, Ms. O'Keeffe, how are you feeling today? My Rose is feeling a bit peaked. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We don't. Please don't say that again. I'm just gonna get you some decaf coffee, Ms. O'Keeffe, and we'll go from there. O'Keeffe was the one who painted the paintings that looked like the hoo-ha, right? I think I'm right. Tweet at Nerdy Virgin if I'm incorrect about my assessment of Georgia O'Keeffe. Looking at a man right now walking 2 big dogs. 2 big dogs right now that the man is walking. And I'm not going to lie to you. My thought was, are they male or female? And then I looked, and I feel ashamed for looking. And I feel like the dogs can sense that I'm looking. And now I feel gross. And now I feel like I need to apologize to all dogs. And just to be safe, to all humans. And say, I'm sorry. I was just curious. I just wanted to know the sex of the dogs. I don't know why that mattered. Why did that matter? Because The guy has two big dogs, and it felt a little bit like there was a masculinity thing going on with this guy. Yeah, I'm a big guy. These are my two big dogs. We're all men. Rawr, rawr, rawr. And I was curious to see if perhaps they were female dogs, and maybe this was, not so much a sexism thing as it was he just liked powerful dogs, in which case I would judge him differently, even though I'm not even talking to him and judging him no matter what. Feeling bloated this morning. Let's transition into the bloated material. Feeling bloated. Why? I had too much pita bread yesterday. I don't handle my pita bread too well. I'm not good with pita. I love pita bread. I'll eat the whole basket when they give it to me, and then the next day, feeling gassy. I simply don't understand, Your Majesty, why you continue listening to the Joshcast. Because underneath that silliness and the scatological humor, there is the spark of a sad little man, and I can relate. Driving behind a Lincoln. Ah, the Lincoln. I don't know, you're never going to see a hot, sexy teenage boy driving a Lincoln. I was having this discussion with famed comedian James P. Connolly about scooters, specifically those rentable scooters, and how if Chris Hemsworth was on one of those scooters, would he still be as sexy? Or would the scooter take away from the sexiness? Tweet at Nerdy Virgin if you think he would still be sexy, or if he would not be sexy. Like an idiot, I'm going to check my Twitter feed immediately after recording this, forgetting that I have to first post it in order for it to go anywhere. That is the kind of thing I would do, because now, as a man who is no longer in his 20s, I called myself a man. Things must be looking up in the world of Josh's self-esteem. In the world of Josh's self-esteem. But that's how we're handling life. That's what's happening with life. That is where life is right now at this point. Hit a red light. I don't normally hit this red light. Feeling annoyed at this red light. Normally always green. Why did it stop? Sometimes I wonder if the universe says, no, he needs to stop there, so that he can have that thought or have that experience happen that will cause him to go on a trajectory where all of his dreams come true, because the universe conspires in my favor. What an interesting phrase. The universe conspires in my favor. Because I just get the image of a bunch of planets and galaxies in a room, but it's like an organized crime thing because of the word conspiracy. Did anyone follow you, Jupiter? I don't know. I'm Jupiter. I'm huge. I don't know. Probably everyone followed me. Look, Jupiter. We're here to conspire in Josh's favor. So we all need to figure out how we can help him. I don't know. I mean, do I look like I know how to write punchlines? That's what he could use at this point. Do I look like I know how to talk to girls? I'm Jupiter. I just float there and look grand. I really think someone followed me. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. How do you not follow Jupiter when Jupiter just, it's not like I can just sneak away. Neptune had to notice I'd left. I'm sure Neptune noticed. He's very nosy. What about you, Milky Way Galaxy? How do you think you can contribute to helping Josh? Well, as the Milky Way Galaxy, first of all, let me just say it's weird to see Jupiter outside of myself. I feel, I'm a tiny speck, Jupiter's a tiny speck compared to me, but I gotta say, it feels weird. Well, yeah, it feels weird to me too. And speaking of which, Milky Way, I have a few complaints I'd like to lodge. Oh, here we go. Look, just because I'm the galaxy and you're the planet, what do you think? What am I, the slumlord? I'm not the one in control of things. Well, if you're not in control of things, how can we conspire to help Josh? Can anyone in here do anything? What about you, Alpha Centauri? Don't get me into this. I don't even want to be here right now. And that's how the universe is going to conspire into my favor.